There were 3 bodies discovered in the tomb of Tutankhamun. I am making my way down to Madi, a district in Cairo, to meet with Dr. Sahar Saleem, as we've been investigating 2 of these unique and mysterious mummies.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Sahar.
Curtis. How are you?
Fine.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
Hello. Please come in.
Thank you. I'm here to hear more about Tut's children.
Yes, let's do it.
Sahar, I believe you have something special that you want to show to me in connection with Tut's children.
Yes, true. And
Yeah.
this is a special gift for the anniversary of the discovery of King Tutankhamun.
Yeah, because I believe you've been, as we've been working on something very special together.
So I'm eager to show it to you.
In 1922, when the tomb of Tutankhamun was discovered, with over 5,000 artifacts inside, one raised more questions than answers for the Egyptologists. Way at the back of the tomb, in the so-called treasury room, guarded at the doorway by the elegant black jackal god Anubis, the god that was tasked with leading the dead through the challenges to ultimately meet with Osiris and enter the next life. Behind him, simply placed above some other treasures, was a plain, undecorated white box. But this box contained something that was more precious to the pharaoh than any piece of gold could be. There were 2 small sarcophagi, each containing 2 mummified babies. This myth that Tutankhamun was not a significant pharaoh is simply not true. His successors removed his name from history, but he ruled for 10 years, relocating the capital city back to Waset, Thebes or Luxor, depending on which name you call it. He even reinstated Egypt's chief god, Amun. He did make significant changes for the better, even if he was a puppet. It was done in his name. However, apart from being a pharaoh, who is shown in war and stately occasions, Tutankhamun was also a brother and furthermore a husband. He and his wife, Ankhesenamun, had a deep love, evident from the images we see of them together. These 2 siblings had only each other to lean on for emotional support. They even tried to continue their family line, resulting in the devastating outcome of 2 stillborn children. Tut died at the age of 19, his wife soon after, and thus their family was officially out of history. Yet, the discovery of his tomb made them the most celebrated king and queen from ancient Egypt. But what about these 2 children of Tut and Ankhesenamun? Dr. Sahar Saleem has been studying them in depth with unprecedented techniques to discover their secrets. And using these new techniques, we can reveal the faces of Tutankhamun's children for the first time.
The 2 children of the mummified daughters Tutankhamun that were actually proved by the DNA to be his daughters.
Yes.
They were stored in my university, in the Faculty of Medicine of Qasr Al Aini. They've been stored there since 1925.
Okay.
And it was the time in 2008, actually, on the 28th of July in 2008, when we want to study the two daughters of Tutankhamun as part of the Egyptian mummy project, to link them to their daddy.
Because these are princesses.
Yeah, they are princesses. And from the initial examination that has been done in an autopsy by Professor Derry, who was also a colleague professor in the university, professor of anatomy, and he was the one that actually autopsied their father.
Why were you so passionate to scan these two children?
I'm so passionate because they were found in the tomb of King Tutankhamun. The two miniature mummies were found head to feet, placed inside a box, a totally non-decorated box. Two miniature bodies that were not known if they were related to Tutankhamun, or they were sort of a cult, or
like an offering,
or like an offering, or a magic, or something. So it was not known. There were only these three human remains inside the tomb: the King Tutankhamun and these two miniature mummies that were not known what they were. It was the initial examination by Douglas Derry, 1932, that he said, okay, they were fetuses. So, okay, they were fetuses, but it was not known until the DNA was part of the Egyptian mummy project that proved the link of the two fetuses with King Tutankhamun. Now it's about time to examine them and to see who are they, and how they are not like any fetus. They were the royal fetuses. And there is something.
They're the children of the Pharaoh.
The children of the Pharaoh. There's also something that I was passionate, and I was just very worried, because this was actually the first ever CT scan of a mummified fetus.
Wow. So was there some challenges in that? Because
a lot of challenges. I don't have a road map. I was the one to create a map to how to examine and how to do the CT scan. What are the parameters for not only a fetus, but also a mummified fetus? And how to interpret, how to know if I can know the sex at what age, how to know the developing, and how to get the age, and what is the style of mummification? Was it different than the mummification that we know, a special type of mummification for the fetuses? I didn't know. I didn't know what to face.
Unprecedented.
So I started with the best quality CT scanning that I could for these miniature bodies, and going from there, I just went to the forensic studies. That what did they do for identifying dumped fetuses in the modern time? How they manage that and implement all this on the two fetuses, and adding the changes that would happen by the mummification.
So what did you find?
It's amazing to know the mummies that were once in a very perfect condition when they first autopsied in 1932 by Derry. And even Derry, he said that there was a tiny, smaller one and a little bit bigger one. And he said that even
baby A, baby B.
And even the eyelashes were there. The eyebrows were there.
Delicate.
The part of the umbilical cord was still attached to the tiny to the tiny fetus. They were in a perfect condition, but probably the way that they were stored, maybe unnoticed, and considered as an ordinary, maybe a specimen of anatomy. They were not recognized as royal fetuses,
children.
so they did not have the proper storage. That deteriorated them and caused them in the CT scan to show a lot of breakage of bones, broken bones in both fetuses. Maybe the smaller one, because this tiny one, it had now
more delicate,
and now had a lot of damage.
The storage of these babies has led to their mummies looking quite deteriorated. Did this prove difficult when you were scanning them to prove, well, what was done during storage and what was done actually during mummification?
Definitely, this was also another challenging point, that the preservation was not perfect. Using the two-dimensional images and three-dimensional imaging of the CT scan and manipulating the image in different directions with different window that you change the appearance of the image. This helped me to get the best information that I can get. So this was the preservation condition, which was not very
not
good.
Great,
yeah. And then the second challenge was how to determine the sex of the mummies. So the autopsy of Derry, he mentioned that these were two female fetuses.
You had to prove it.
And at his time, he had the option or the privilege that the mummies were in just a perfect condition, just unwrapped. So he was a professor of anatomy, so he was knowledgeable about that. So I would take his assessment as right, as correct, and I have to check whether this also appears to me or not. But my question was the estimation of Derry, Douglas Derry, about the age was like 6 months and 8 months.
Premature.
Premature inside the womb. So this was before gestation or before being born. My question was, do we know the sex of the fetuses at that age to be able to say that this is a male or female? And the answer was yes. It was quite enough old in order to.
You could tell from your scans.
We can tell from that age and onwards. And the morphology of the external genitalia for the fetuses, it showed that they were female. So this was also it's a mummy. It's unlike the skeleton, which we depend on the shape of the bones. But when you have a mummified preserved tissue, this would be helpful. So the female organs, they
were intact.
They were intact. I have also a challenge for estimation of the gestational age, or at what time they died in the womb.
Because there's been no CT scans done before of fetuses.
Yeah, this was the first CT scan done for a mummified fetus, and I have to develop the guidelines, maybe for other mummified fetuses if they ever get CT scans, so people would follow the protocol that I put. And I chose to do different methods, and these different methods would enable me to have to estimate the gestational age with different methods, and then I will have the average. One of them is the developing bone. The bone develops inside the womb. The bones, for example, for the ends of the bone, they will just
like the joints.
The joint, they will just start as a focus, and from this focus the bone will just like build and be long enough. And this is what I
fusion.
found. Yes, each one of the ossification center or the developing bone, we know that they appear in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Each one appear in certain age, and by knowing this, we can tell at what age they were developing. For example, we know that the ossification or the bony centers at the knee, they develop later at 36 or 37 weeks of gestation in the eighth week, eighth months of pregnancy. So in the older one, I see it here, and
this is baby B.
This baby B, because she's older enough that to have more estimation of the age. So this is baby B, that the ossification centers of the knee, they appear here, denoting that they are at the eighth month or so, and even the teeth buds. Even that there are milky teeth, and there is a permanent teeth, but there are also when they first
permanent for some.
When they first appear. So these are the teeth buds. Also, the teeth buds, they have a certain age and appearances. From all of this, I can estimate the age. Going to another score using what's called Stamfler score, which looks at every tiny bit of bone in the fetus and the way they look. For example, here the wrists, if they are flat, if they are concave or convex, and each one has a certain age, as well as from the pelvis, as well as from the ankle and the hind foot, the flatness or the curvature, all this in a certain age. This is a sort of a score having different parameters, put them together, and from there we can tell
you
the
get
age.
your age.
So I used different methods. I used from the length of the femoral bone. This is what we use nowadays to estimate the age for pregnant women. We just measure the length of the femur, and from the charts we go and check for the age. I use that for the fetus of Tutankhamun as the modern ones. But not only that, I used also the appearance of the bony centers, which timely appearance. I use Olsen score of ossification, and I use also the morphological appearance of the bone, what's called the Stamford radiographic score. Each one accordingly gave me an estimation of the age, and from that I can tell that baby A, which is the smaller one, which is really small, 24.6 week, and the bigger one is about 36.8, about from 36 to 37 weeks. So we are talking about 6 months and 8 to 9 months of gestation.
We can see how long Ankhesenamun was pregnant for.
Yes,
she's the mother.
This is true.
The Amarna period faced many problems. Akhenaten's wish to keep the royal family line pure by only reproducing with royals and within his own family would have caused major issues, as we know the results of inbreeding. We can see the evidence of this in the artistic depictions of the family members and children of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. They are all shown with strange, elongated skulls. We know Akhenaten tried to conceive children with at least 2 of his own daughters, resulting in the premature deaths of those inbred father-daughter children. Although many have dismissed these elongated heads merely as an art style of the Amarnan period, yet when we look at the mummy of Tutankhamun, these deformities from inbreeding are evident, and This appears to have carried on to Tut and his sister wife's children.
Another thing that the pictures of the fetuses were there since 1932 when they were photographed back then, and the
Was it by Harry Burton, I believe?
Oh yes,
Howard Carter's photographer.
He actually he covered all
the whole tomb.
The tomb. Since then, this picture of the older fetus, baby B, just like
it went viral.
Yeah, went viral about its appearance, especially the shape of the head that with the almond-shaped eyes, just like as if it is an alien. Especially when the meteoritic daggers of Tutankhamun were found.
Now they're aliens.
Now they were aliens, and this is actually here from Daily Star, and here from another news that was just like discussing that the aliens. So this was also one of the questions I have to answer.
This alien conspiracy about baby B. This is something you and I had discussed when we were working on our special project that we'll reveal soon, because they're not aliens. This is just a really strange angle, because your CT scans could help prove.
This one of the stories that I had to work on, the alien fetuses that have been in news. I want to just
disprove it
or prove it as a scientific word. But actually, when we look at the CT scan, the three-dimensional CT scan in the front and in the side, this tower-like appearance of the skull was only just the fracture of the skull. You see here,
because her face has fallen down.
Yes, yeah. The face has fallen down. This gave this funny,
short face,
funny
long
appearance,
head.
and the long head.
And even the angle of the original picture from the 20s, the head seems to be facing further down.
Probably
your CT scans actually show that her jaw is not that pointed. She actually has a flatter jaw.
Yeah. It's this position that the head is tilted a little bit to this is the normal position for the mummification, which is like tilting
a little forward,
tilting a little forward. At that time when the picture was taken, it was not deteriorated, so there were no all these fractures. But this is the funny way that the photograph picture was taken, and the CT scan, the towering is not a real towering, but actually fracture.
Yeah.
So another thing that happened in the previous examination of the bigger fetus, fetus B in 1979, but at that time it was only by X-ray.
Yeah.
By X-ray, the scientists at that time they found that the shoulder of the baby, left shoulder, is high up, and so they considered
like a malformation.
It is sort of malformation. We call this Springle's shoulder. So this she's a malformed one. And then they looked at the spine and they said, okay, the spine is open, so this is a sort of open spine, and there will be protrusion of the cord, and this is an anomaly.
Yeah.
This was what the X-ray said, but what the CT said, that the left shoulder is high up because it's actually broken
from moving.
It's broken and moved a bit from the rest of the body. That's why it looked higher. And then you look here that the spine was actually broken. Yeah. So it looks like it is open. It's nothing.
Not.
It's not.
It's from transporting these fragile little mummies.
Yes, true, and from the faulty storage.
Yeah.
So in this case, we would say I refute the congenital anomalies described by the X-ray taken earlier.
Yeah.
And
They are inbred children.
they are,
but
and we
they
expect
are not.
so. We expect
Yeah.
so. We expect malformation.
Yeah.
But actually,
Not as bad.
I couldn't find malformation.
Okay.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Yeah, but just remember that the mummification, the way that the body is preserved, that important viscera and organs are not kept. So if there are, for example, internal cause of the death, I would not know that. But from what appears to me that the bones. They do not show anomalies from the skull or so. So I refuted the congenital anomalies, unlike the father.
Yeah.
Unlike the father, Tutankhamun had
some problems.
Had some problems in his left foot. He has club foot, and he has a problem in his toes.
The cleft in the mouth.
Yeah, and the roof of the mouth, it has an opening or a defect. The kids are not like that. The things also that I want to know, what kind of mummification would a fetus get?
Is it on the same level as a pharaoh?
Yeah, or just like wrapping them and placing them.
Yeah.
Or
what knowledge did they have?
Yes.
Yeah.
The external appearance of these coffins, that they were two nested coffins. An outer coffin that it was in black resin, painted in black resin with golden strips and with a wig like appearance of the
similar to Tut's great grandparents, Tuya and Yuya.
Yes, definitely.
Their sarcophagi are done in that style.
Definitely, not only outer coffin, but there's also an inner coffin that is all covered with golden foil, in also a nice way, with an eyeliner.
Care was taken.
Yes, a lot. Yeah. Not only that, but the wrapped mummies were covered with a golden mask.
So they were recognized already by the gods.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is true, because what is written on the outer coffin is the Osiris. So they were not given a name, but they were recognized by Osiris.
Yeah.
This appearance would tell you that it is a royal style of mummification from the external wrapping. What about the internal? Usually the mummies, for example, their father Tutankhamun, he was subjected to brain treatment, not only with one level of resin like the other mummies, but with two levels of resin, that with an extra care. And the other thing that all the viscera or the internal organs were taken of the Tutankhamun, and this is important. Brain treatment in Tutankhamun, and there was also evisceration or removal of the internal organs. When the fetuses had the same treatment as their father, or they were just, let's see. This is what the CT scan showed me. In the smaller baby A, there were inside the skull, there were dense material.
Like a resin.
Like a resin or so. This indicates that this was maybe a sort of a brain treatment. The condition was not good, unfortunately, with the faulty storage. But despite of that, this, as a scientist, would give me a hint of a sort of treatment. But when I looked inside the body, inside the torso, there were packs. There were packs inside, well-formed packs, denoting that there were sort of treatment. Unlike what Derry said, Doc was there when he
said they weren't treated.
because he couldn't find by his eye that there was an opening, but maybe it was just a tiny opening that they did all this. So visually he could not see, but from inside, I would tell you, these were mummified.
They were prepared
artificially. They were prepared. For the older one, I can tell more because it's a bigger body.
Yeah.
And definitely there was this opening on the left side of the lower abdomen where all the organs were taken off. And her father also had a similar one going from his umbilical, from the umbilicus going down, yes,
Yeah.
going outward. So similar thing. And from there, the organs were taken, and I can see even the visceral packs inside the
So
body.
the cavity doesn't collapse when the mummy decays.
This is true. It's not only the functional issue of taking the organs out, but also the beautification issue, that to keep the body well formed and as a whole by placing organs and placing the visceral packs, and these visceral packs also will just get any moisture or anything.
So the mummies were prepared as royals. Yeah.
Similar to their father.
Yeah. Exactly.
So it's not like a magic issue. They were not placed to be votive mummies.
These were his children that he wanted with him.
Yes, that's very much true. And this is just like to remind you the mummification that Tutankhamun received, the brain mummification, as well as the removal of the viscera. And here you can see even the packs, similar to
inside his torso.
His torso, and the two resin levels inside the skull, very unique.
You showed me this CT scan, and this is the best CT scan I have ever seen of inside Tutankhamun's head.
This is what I do, is to manipulate the image in order and to cut open the skull in order to see what is inside, and this is all virtually. We are keeping the mummy intact. This is totally non-invasive. But despite of that, I make a cut in order to see what is inside the skull. The DNA testing actually showed that the relationship between the two fetuses and Tutankhamun is father-daughter relationship with a very high
99.9%.
And likely the mother was KV21A, was an Isn Amon. You know, Curtis, that knowing that Tutankhamun was always depicted as a loving husband, always with his wife, touching
each other, pouring wine.
Yeah. So we know that this affection, and we know now that these children were children of love.
Yeah.
They were just conceived with a lot of love between the husband and wife. But also now we know that of their death. We know how the couple endured the pain of losing children, especially not once but twice, and especially after 6 months of waiting for the child, and just like very close, before the full birth. 8 months or 9 months for the older one. You see how the pain, and that's why maybe all these drawings that we see the couple comforting each other. Maybe
not just for the loss of the parents, the change of religion, the moving back from your hometown, but for their children.
Yeah, and also from all the duties that the child and the teenager Tutankhamun, the king, has to take care of the huge rich country. But from not only comforting from that, but also comforting from the grief. Maybe Tutankhamun was affected more, but because it seems that the wife was the one just approaching for touching. Maybe
she was the stronger one.
Yeah. So that's why it was important now to look at Tutankhamun not only as a husband, but now as a grieving
Husband.
as grieving father.
This has been a long process for you from 2008.
Yeah.
To
It took me several years in order to have to put together the methodology and to be the standard for any other CT scan of a mummified fetus, and this what really happened because the Maidstone Museum in UK, they had this tiny mummy in the in the shape of a hawk, and they thought that it was a primate. And when it was sent to me, I realized that it was a mummified fetus. So
but deformed.
Yeah, but deformed fetus with no head. So that would what made this appearance. But because I had put the methodology of how to study, to examine, and to interpret a mummified fetus, now we can examine.
There's a method
more.
To do it.
I even published that in my book, Scanning the Pharaohs, co-authored with Dr. Zahir Hawass. Children were very important as part of the family. Even they were called the staff of old age.
Yeah.
Ancient Egyptians, they invested in their children. They took care of their children because they knew that the children
would take care of them.
And the other life. So that's why it was very important. They recognized the pregnancy, and they have a deity.
Yes.
For pregnancy, and they have it in the form of hippopotamus lactating breasts, having
pregnant stomach.
Yes, and with her clothes in order to fight for any enemies of the mother and for her coming child, and carrying the ankh, the symbol of life, in her hands, giving it. So that's why pregnancy was really important for ancient Egyptians.
Yeah.
And fetus in ancient Egypt was recognized as an identity. It's even something that we lack in our modern laws.
Yeah.
Modern laws, the fetus is not recognized as an in ancient Egypt, it was.
Before it was born,
Before
it was recognized already.
Recognized. Because let me read this prayer that told to the mother during giving birth. Amun, make the heart of the deliverer strong, and keep alive the one that is coming. The fetus is still in her womb. It's recognized as the one that is coming. So that's how ancient Egyptians recognized the fetus, and so it is just logic that a miscarriage was considered as a death in the family that was mourning. Now there are few fetuses, mummified fetuses recognized from ancient Egypt. The one in Maidstone Museum that we have just seen, with the anencephaly or absent of head. And there's another one with a similar deformity from Tuna El Gabal. Yes, and another one from Lorette and Gillard, also with malforming. So this is the beauty of ancient Egypt, who recognize children as important part of the family, recognize even fetuses as a member worthy of living, and recognize even here even malformed fetuses as soul worth living.
Exactly. It's incredible. It's incredible to learn about these little people that didn't get to live their lives.
This is true, and it's amazing how science give you an information about how people who lived thousands of years ago, how they were thinking, and even the moments of their life, the moments of joy and the moments of sorrow and sadness.
Yeah. Well, you set me a challenge a few months ago, and we've been working on this to show what Tut's children could have looked like.
Yeah,
So-
because we did before the reconstruction of the face of a great king, Amenhotep I, that
Yes.
was totally wrapped, never being unwrapped. Nobody ever saw his face, but I could see the face with the unwrapping with the three-dimensional CT scan.
Yeah.
And you even put a face on that, and you had a nice facial reconstruction. And I was wondering if this could be true for two little tiny
people.
at that time. So what do you have for me?
So we've been working for a couple months. You gave me information about the age, some information about how the bodies were formed, and obviously your CT scans. So from all angles, I had all of this information to work with. You've seen a little bit of the reconstruction of these babies, but you haven't seen it completed.
Yes, please.
So for now, I have something very special to show to you.
I can't wait.
Hopefully, this can give a face to the children of Tutankhamun. This is baby A.
Hey, yeah, little tiny one.
Yeah. When you see the little eyelashes, very small
Yes, yeah.
eyebrows, and you can see this. The head is.
Yes,
It's a normal baby's head.
It's normal baby head, and the mouth and the nose. Yes, it's so nice.
And the veins, because I've never reconstructed a baby. And for a baby at that age,
It was a challenge.
Yeah.
For you.
I had to do a lot of research about it. And, you know, you have these veins on the babies and the skin that is sort of wrinkled. They weren't a smooth, tight face.
True.
So
true.
I hope that
It
this
is
lives up to your...
very much like I know her CT scan. I saw the CT scan, but to put a face on the mummy, this is amazing because it's a way that you can communicate better.
Yeah.
It's no more an object.
Yeah. It's a person.
It's a person. Now it's a human that you can communicate with.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And I have a surprise.
Yes.
Because this is how the child would have been at death. But I thought it would be a great idea to see what the child could have looked like had she lived a few months longer. So we can reveal to you the face. That's baby A,
What
the
an
little princess.
amazing princess with the eyeliner and with yes, and
Because
even
we have
the
the
accessories, tiny hair, and she's amazing.
She has Queen T's mouth.
Oh yeah,
her grandmother's
Yes,
mouth.
yes.
We have the images of the two children from Amana. And I thought, well, that's how these children would have dressed at that time. So
this is really amazing, and this is how a fetus would have looked like, and this is how a
few months.
A few months later, if she managed to live, but she did not, unfortunately, she would have been a
Beautiful
very
little
little totally Egyptian girl with the
with her eyeliner, her jewelry.
Yeah, definitely, I see faces like hers among the children in my family, in my street. She's so Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. What a beautiful.
Well, that's not
present.
all. That's not all.
Oh.
We have baby B.
Oh.
And this is baby B. That's baby B.
Oh,
The alien baby.
The alien. Okay, no, totally, just like with a normal
Normal.
appearance of the head, and you took this shape from this
The CT scan.
The CT scan.
So for her mummy, it was a bit more difficult because we had this strange reference image, and then we had your CT scan, and I put your CT scan over the reference image, lining up with the shoulders and the chin.
Yeah.
And I was able to see that that indeed is a very strange angle for a picture.
As if I'm looking like that.
Yeah, and if you take a picture of anybody from that angle, it's gonna look very sharp.
And the head would look bigger than usual from
In fact, she didn't have that. I had to reconstruct her skull. So I took your CT scan. I had to put her skull back together at the top, like a little ancient Egyptian puzzle. And yeah, she has a very straight jaw, actually straighter than her sister.
Yeah, that's amazing, because we can still have outlining of the jaw, despite of the bad preservation or conservation.
Yeah, and she has the shoulder that we were talking about.
Yeah.
So just slightly raised. So that's her.
That's amazing.
And go ahead and have a look how she would have looked had she lived.
Wow, a beautiful one, with open eyes and with nice and accessories and with eyebrow. Yeah, she looks very amazing. Yeah. But you know, Curtis, that when it was first unwrapped in 1932 by Douglas Derry, and in his notes he wrote that this baby had open eyes, eyelashes, and eyebrow. She was almost perfect. Full term, almost full term. And they kept her with open eyes. So this would have been how she looked like months
a few months later.
Yeah, and quite similar.
You can see the two.
Yeah, to her sister. But maybe this is where you gave her more personality.
A little, but what I did notice with baby B, she did have a slight problem with her nose, because there is one side of her nose that is a little drooping and a little larger. So she did have some deformation in the face. Yeah.
But again, this is the best that can be taken from the actual CT scan and from the actual picture. So this is not fiction. This actually, it is based on evidences.
It might not be the exact faces, but this allows us to imagine what they could have looked like.
Yes, and with from bases, and the bases are
the basis is scientific.
Yes, because this from scientific basis. That's really amazing, and that's really art with science, with passion. This really the nice story of
two princesses.
Two princesses.
Yeah.
And their father and mother and the whole family.
The whole family.
We now.
If they had lived, history would be very different.
This is very much true. It's very much true. Maybe one of them would have been the queen, and we wouldn't have the problem with Hur Muhib and I and all these problems. This would be, and maybe in their lineage there would be no Dynasty 19.
There would be no Ramses.
Yeah, there were no Ramses. So yeah, this is very much true.
Yeah.
It's amazing piece of information that adds a lot to our understanding of history and to this golden era.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope that this helps you to feel more connected to them.
And every one of us would be more connected to the little royal princesses, to their father and mother.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. It's
Thank you.
Challenge accepted, and you succeeded.
I was so nervous. I've never reconstructed a child.
Yeah.
So thank you for the challenge.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yes, you did it very well. I'm so happy
Thank you.
with your work. Thank you.